Hey guys, it's 23. This is the in3 WARTYPE variant by QUhyeon or Graymore Plus, or as I know them, Moto. This is a completely custom and standalone variant of the in3. Everything is pretty much custom made by Moto. Pretty much the modeling, the texturing, the way it works is all done by Moto. But yeah, this is the WARTYPE. Pretty cool. There's a lot to go through, but I'll try to keep it short. In terms of what you'll get the Unity package. You also get a Substance Painter file and also a Blender file. In the Unity package, it is really simple. All you have to do is just find the scene of the WARTYPE, open up the scene, and you're pretty much ready to go. You can pretty much upload as is, and this is how it will look like. If you want to take the time to customize your WARTYPE, you may do so. If you have previous experience from the in3s or the Eno 3s, you may know what to do. But just to name a few, you can change the hair color, the eye type. You can also change the color of your WARTYPE as well if you like. There is also an old variant, which is pretty much just all white, which is pretty much this one. So you get a all white version. The pylon wings is also slightly different. It's more compact and folded rather than pointing out like wings. They're both pretty much the same. It's just the color differences and the pylon position. When you upload as is, this is what it will look like. So pretty standard, pretty cool. In terms of toggles and all that, there are a couple cosmetic toggles. You can turn off the shoulder armor, like so. You can turn off the thigh armor. You can turn off the harness on the torso. You can turn off the pylon wings like so, but now your gun is floating. You can turn off the headset if you like. You can switch to a different type of torso. So you can have this ballistic missiles, or you can have this like armor plating torso like so. You cannot turn off the pouches, but you have to have the thigh armor on to do so. There is a helmet toggle that you can turn off, which is this. Pretty cool. I quite like the design. It's a very fighter jet style helmet, so pretty cool. I quite like it. There was a toggle to turn on these light effects on your visor, so it looks pretty cool when you move around and stuff. There is also a night vision toggle, so you can see in the dark. It's pretty cool. I quite like the effect on how it's turned out. There are a couple blend shades that you can do, so pretty standard from the previous Enos and in3s. So you got chest A, which is like this. You got chest B, which is kind of like that. And then you got your hips or your legs and thighs. And you also got your waist as well. So yeah, you can customize your WARTYPE to be either thick or not, I guess. In terms of weapons, you will have a 25mm autocannon, which is this. This is basically the autocannon from like a Bradley. But yeah, this has a 10 round capacity. It has a LPVO that you can also adjust the throw lever on the fly like so if you grab near the throw lever. It also has this pancake rangefinder that has a light and laser. It also has a bipod that you can't articulate, but you can mount the autocannon. To do so, all you have to do is grab it with two hands, let go with your right hand, and then let go with your left hand like so. In your radio menu, you'll have a mount rifle toggle. If you turn it on, it will do something like this. Now the gun is mounted, or bipoded, so now you can have your rifle like this, so you can have a more stable shot. To unmount the rifle, all you have to do is just turn off the toggle like so, and then now you can grab it like so. In terms of other toggles or settings, there's a toggle where you can spawn back your rifle if you misplace it. So if you drop your rifle, you don't know where it is, you can basically press the misplace your rifle, and then it will spawn back onto your holster like so. There is a toggle to turn off and on the autocannon like so. There's also a button so you can grab the rifle through your radio menu like so, rather than having to reach over to grab it like so. And if you're using this avatar with Quest controllers, there is a toggle for Quest controllers where basically you change the way the trigger works. For index controllers, that means that if it's off, you have to squeeze back the trigger. If it's on, all you have to do is just tap or touch your trigger. And that's pretty much the difference. In terms of how to use the autocannon, it is pretty simple. To shoot, all you have to do is a fist. You have to pull the trigger, at least on the index controllers. In terms of reloading, you can either do a piece to eject the magazine, like so, or you can grab it physically from the gun, like so. To grab a new magazine, you have to reach behind you towards the wing pylons, like so. You can do it on either side, like so. Just a little tip, you don't have to fully reach back to grab a new magazine. You can basically just rotate your wrist and then grab it like so. The charging handle is located on top of the rifle, like so. That is pretty much how to shoot and reload your autocannon. You also get two MP9s mounted behind your shoulder armors. These are ambidextrous, so you can grab them however you like so. There is a stock that you can unfold, also refold like so. You can shoulder if you like. In terms of settings and toggles and stuff, pretty similar to the autocannon, so you can turn them off on and on like so. There is a button where you can grab it to your hand like so. There's also the toggle to drop it in the world like so. There's also the Quest controller trigger settings as well. There's also a fire selector, so you can have on semi or full auto. In terms of how to use the MP9s, it is pretty simple. To shoot, all you have to do is a fist. It is weighted, so you have to pull back the trigger, at least on the index controllers. Like so. In terms of reloading, there are two ways you can do it. The first way, you can do it the normal way, I guess. So you can do a piece to eject the magazine. You can grab a new magazine on your left thigh. You can either drop the bolt by doing a finger point, or you can just rack the side, like so. The second way to reload, you can eject it like normal. And then what you can do is you can basically bring your MP9 towards the mag pouches. Like so. So it would automatically insert a new magazine. And the way it's set up is that you can dual wield and also reload without having to let go of your guns. So that's pretty cool. In terms of attachments, there is an acro. There's also a laser and light. A side note, the lasers and lights do not work. You cannot turn them on. Another cool thing about the MP9s is that it uses the CBJ rounds. What that means for us is that it basically can shoot through walls, or at least one wall. If you don't know anything about the CBJ rounds, it basically has a crazy armor pen. For reference, it can shoot through the backside of a APC, which is crazy for a pistol-sized caliber. If you haven't seen it, go watch Forgotten Weapons video about it. He does a great job explaining it. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the MP9s. You can also dual wield the Autocannon and the MP9 if you like. There's also toggles for your lights and lasers. You'll have global lights and lasers and local lights and lasers. Basically, white light vis laser and IR light and IR laser. The lights and lasers only work on the autocannon. So the way the lights and lasers work, you have to have it two-handed like so. With your left hand, all you have to do is just pull the trigger with your left hand. So you have to do a fist and then pull the trigger. And you can turn on your lights and lasers. Like so. So pretty cool. So you can manage your light disciplines and all that cool stuff. With the IR light, it is permanently on, but only you can see it. And with the IR laser, you cannot see it like so. You can only see it through your night vision, which is really nice touch. So it is actually like a real functional IR laser. Although a side note is that if someone else has the N3 or another WARTYPE, they will see your laser. So in terms of light discipline or laser discipline, yeah, you do have to be mindful of that now. So but pretty cool. And that is pretty much it for the WARTYPE. So pretty cool. I quite like the WARTYPE a lot. It gives a lot of Armor Core vibes, or at least for me. With the WARTYPE, it has a custom locomotion animation. So with the WARTYPE, when you move around, you don't exactly walk, you kind of like slide around. So when you slide around, you make cool sparks and stuff, which I think is a really nice touch. There are a few things I want to talk about with the WARTYPE. The first one is actually something that I already told Moto about it, but I guess they haven't really fixed it. Basically, when you grab and let go of the autocannon, it makes a weird like boot, like a weird noise at the end when everything goes silent. So I'll turn off the music and also turn off the world audio. If I grab the autocannon, you can hear that boot at the end. And then if I let go, I don't know if you can hear it. Some people can't hear it, but I, for some reason, can hear it. So when you grab and let go, it makes this weird like boot sound at the end. It's kind of funny, but just in case if you can't hear it, I'll make it a visual indicator when it happens. So but yeah, that is something I told Moto, but I guess another thing with the autocannon is the way you reload. So everybody has different body shapes and also I guess flexibility. So basically what I'm trying to say is that some people might have a hard time reaching behind them like so. In the early stages, I myself had a hard time reaching back, trying to grab a new magazine. It's definitely a lot better now, but before it used to be a little bit difficult. But even still now, I am sometimes having to, I guess, look down to where the magazines are to grab it. It is a bit finicky, and depending on your, I guess, body type and flexibility, you may or may not have trouble reaching behind to grab a new magazine. Another thing is the custom locum animation. The animation is great, I quite like it a lot, although I've been seeing a lot of comments where you can change it between a walking animation and a sliding animation. I don't know how complex that is, but that is something that I've seen people talk about, or at least some people talk about. And I get it, because it is a little bit weird where you slide around, but there's no thrust. No, there's nothing to propel you across anywhere. You're kind of just gliding, I guess. So I get it, but yeah. There's also something that I think people might, I guess, point out is that when you move around, you don't hear anything. You don't hear any grinding sound when you slide around. There's actually a good reason for that. So basically, if you didn't know, so with VR chat, you can only play 3 sounds per avatar. So for yourself, you can only play 3 sounds, and there's already 3 sounds that play each time you shoot your guns. With the autocannon, there is an audio for the close-up gunshot. There's another audio for distant gunshots, so like the further far gunshots you can hear. There's also an audio sound for impacts. So there's already 3 audio sounds. So if Moto added another audio when you move around, the game basically glitches out and the audio kind of like stops each other. It kind of interrupts each other, and then you don't hear anything most of the time. It's also the same reason why the impact sounds are very abruptly cut each time you shoot. There's no overlapping, because so if you try to overlap the sounds, you're basically playing more sounds than 3. It just breaks everything. So I thought I'd point that out, because some people might find it weird where you're sliding around. You should be making noise, but you're not. But yeah, I do want to point that out. And that also explains the gunshot sounds, or at least when you're in Summer Auto. In order to have a close, distant, and impact sound, you have to have them basically cut each other off and not overlap. Maybe in the future, if VR chat changes the way it works, maybe we can have all the audio sounds that we want, but for now, we can only have 3 audio sounds per avatar. It is what it is, but that is something that I thought I should bring up. So to find this asset, you can go to the coffee shop or the booth page. On the coffee shop, it is listed as 40 USD. On that booth page, there are 2 packages that you can get. So you can get the full package, which goes for 6,300 yen, or you can basically just get the base, so none of the attachments, none of the cool features. So just the bare bone war type, that goes for 2,500 yen. As always, I do recommend buying from the coffee shop. They basically get most of the funds. So I think that's a good thing. Yeah. I also want to say thank you to Motos for allowing me to test or play test and find bugs for them, and also allowing me to be on that little trailer that they did. So thank you. It is pretty cool to work with you with these assets. So yeah, thank you. But yeah, if you like what you see, why not check this out? Okay, thank you. Bye bye.